just went through it once. This is chord strum number 2. It's our second pair of chords in beginning rock guitar level 1. And we're on page 15 in the book, if you have the physical book. The chords here are A minor, which are both of these chords involve 3 fingers. In our first 2 chords, we are only doing 2 fingers, E on E minor, and 2 fingers on A7. Here we have 3 fingers, and when you go from A minor to D7, there is a common finger, and it's the first finger. D7 also has 3 fingers. So these are a little more challenging maybe, but they're really not too bad because your first finger holds when you change. It's kind of like an anchor, and it helps you feel a reference and kind of anchors your hand as you change. Now, the rhythm here, notice that I was doing a triple rhythm. We talked about duple and triple rhythms. Duple rhythms are in 2s and 4s. Triple rhythms are in 3s. And each measure here has 3 quarter notes. So it's counted like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Usually 1 will be emphasized a little bit. So you would maybe hit the strings a little bit harder or strum more strings and then fewer strings on the lighter strums. So it's kind of like heavy, light, light, heavy, light, light. So learn to count this rhythm because it could be a little confusing. 3 is an odd number and it may feel a little odd. You might feel a little at odds when you're counting it, but it's kind of like if you've ever experienced a waltz, you know, but usually a waltz is faster than what we're doing, but it's like a waltz. It's like a slow waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And now notice that we're not changing chords on every measure. And like in the first one, we were changing, E minor was one measure, and then A7 was the next measure. Here we have 2 measures that go by with the A minor, and then 2 measures on the D7. They're at the end, after you've done A minor, D7, D7 3 times through, then you'll go A minor, D7, A minor, A minor. At the very end, the last phrase. You usually want to think of 4 measures as a phrase. So you're repeating the first phrase 3 times. And the first phrase is A minor, 2, 3, A minor, 2, 3, D7, 2, 3, D7, 2, 3. So that would be a phrase. And just be careful, it is easy to get lost on the page. This one has a lot more measures to keep track of than the first chord changes that we had a few pages back. So I'm going to play through it again, and I'm going to play through it twice. Actually, before I do that, I want to talk about another thing, that if you find that you're going like this, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're slow getting to the next chord and starting it. We talked about that in the first lesson on chords. You want to learn to change chords on time. These chords are a little more challenging because it's 3 fingers and you have to manipulate them in a different way. Now, there are specific chord drills that you can do to speed up the process of being able to change the chords quickly. And so there's like 4 different types of drills. The first one is simply learning to, like if I make the A minor chord, which is fingers 2, 3, and 1, and then if I lift the shape off, so I'm lifting all 3 fingers, kind of like a spaceship lifting off, all the legs lift off at the same time, and it hovers, like if you're thinking of a flying saucer, it's on the ground and then it lifts up and hovers. That's what you want to do. You want to lift up and hover above the strings about 1/8 of an inch. So have all 3 fingers come off at the same height and learn to just hover above the strings with that same shape, and then put the shape back down. So you'll lift the shape and then put it back down. Lift it and put it back down. So I call that holding the shape. When you lift it, and it's okay if your fingers touch one another, you don't have to spread them out. You don't really want to spread them out. You want to keep the exact same shape when you lift the chord. And then do that with the D7 separately. So you've got fingers 2, 1, 3. Make sure your second finger, before I forget, you want to get that second finger right up to the fret. You may tend to want to drift away from the fret because these 2 fingers want to be side by side. But you can turn the hand and pivot to where you can get both fingers right up to the fret. So anyway, with our D7 shape, I'm lifting and holding the shape. Chords are nothing but shapes. You learn these shapes and your hand becomes familiar, more and more familiar with the shape, the more that you do the chord. So that's the first drill. The second drill, and I talked about this a little bit in the first chord lesson, is what I call the slow, smooth arch. So I'm going from A minor as slow and as smoothly as I can. And then I'll go back to A minor. I'll go to D7, slow and smooth, back. You don't want to lift them one at a time and then put them down one at a time and lift them one at a time. You want to lift them all together, move them together, put them down together. And you're making a new shape. It's a little more spread out. It's the same 2 fingers, but on A minor they're on adjacent strings, and then on the D7 there's a string skip between the second and third fingers. So notice everything. Notice the smoothest way that the finger can move, each finger of the chord can move to where it needs to go for the next chord. Okay? So that's the slow, smooth arch. And then the third type of drill is what I call ready, set, go. And it's just like running a race. The guy has the pistol, and he goes ready, set, psh, like that. So you're thinking, you're getting your A minor, taking your time, making the A minor, and you go, I'm going to put my pick down, ready, set, go. And you hustle to get to that D7 as quickly as you can, just like snapping your fingers. Take your time making the A minor, ready, set, go. Okay? And I went so intensely that I tapped the strings. That's okay. And now the other direction, D7 to A minor. Take your time making the D7 and go ready, set, go. Like that. Ready, set, go. And that will teach you to hustle to get from one chord to another. You don't want to keep it as a slow, smooth arch, but you need to do the slow before you do the fast. Now, the fourth type of drill, this is like a little mini course in how to change chords more efficiently. And this would be like doing one measure of A minor with the strums. It's what I call a strum drill. And we're trying to get to the D7 on time in the same rhythm that we're strumming the A minor. So you'll do A minor for 3 beats. 1, 2, 3, D7. And you're either on time or you're not. And if you find that you're going too fast, like if you go, wait a minute, okay, then you're late. You know, you want to go slow enough, 2, 3, and change right on time, right in the pulse of the rhythm. Then, only do one direction at a time. Do D7 back to A minor, 3 beats on D7, 1, 2, 3, A minor. Hustle to get to the A minor. 1, 2, 3, 1. You're either on time or you're not. This would not be on time. And you might, think, well, I'm just being careful. I want to make sure I've got the chord before I strum it. But you want to learn to strum the chord as you approach the chord. Don't wait until you've got the chord perfect and then decide to strum afterwards. By then you're late. So you have to learn to strum as you make the chord. 1, 2, 3, make the chord as you strum. And it's like, you're doing one shape to another shape, And so your fingers have to become trained, and the fingers do have a physical memory. There's 3 main types of memory. One is the sound, remembering how it sounds. Saying 3 types of memory in music. The other is a physical memory of the hands, the way they feel when they play the music. And then there's the memory of how the music looks on the page. And all 3 of those things can help you when you try to memorize a song. Though right now we're not really worried about memorizing. You can if you want. But so anyway, that's about all I have to say about this one. Make sure that also that your pick, learn to play 5 strings. Remember that exercise where you bring the pick immediately back as if you had a rubber band, bringing it back to the 5th string. So you're strumming from the 5th string out. Don't linger out here too long. Bring it immediately back. So it's an immediate release of coming back. And then D7 is 4 strings. So you want to make sure you're not strumming all 6 strings. It's going to sound really muddy. Try to just strum 4 strings on the D7. So learn to bring your pick back to the 4th string. I missed it right there. You could do that. You could just hit the 4th string and then strum every 3 strums, maybe something like that. You can make up your own exercise, but learn to strum 4 strings deliberately and then 5 strings. That was 6, sorry. It's late at night, I'm kind of tired, but so bring your hand back to that same place. So you can train your right hand to where it's not just strumming wildly and hitting all 6 strings no matter what the chord is. Some chords are 6 strings, definitely. But that's, pretty much all I need to talk about with this one. So have fun with it. Like this video if you got something out of it. And subscribe to my channel if you have not. And also go on Facebook and like my page John Hedger Guitar Studio. Thank you. Have fun.